Hey, everybody. Welcome to 2024. I can't believe we've already flown through 2023. Did I say 24 or 23? I can't remember now. But anyway, we are in 2024. I am here with my co-host, Lori Kordowich. Lori, welcome. How are you doing? And who exactly are you for people that don't know who you are?
I'm doing very well, Rip. Thank you. Happy New Year. Yes, I serve as the Director of Marketing for all things Plant Strong, and I'm super excited to be here with you as we kick off the 2024 7-Day Challenge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope everybody out there has had a great holiday season, a great Christmas. Let us know in the comment section where you're tuning in from. We'd love to know. Lori, did you do anything exciting over New Year's?
Oh my gosh, over New Year's, well, there wasn't any snow, so our family was not able to ski as we had planned. We did play a lot of indoor pickleball, though, so that's, as you know, a good second choice. First choice. How about you?
Well, so we took the family and we went to the North Shore of Lake Superior, Minnesota side. And again, like you, we didn't have any snow, so we were looking forward to that. But what we did instead is every day we did a cold plunge into Lake Superior, and the temperature of the water was 33 to 35 degrees. I've never experienced such cold water in my life. We definitely pulled out our inner, Wim Hofs for the week, but it was fun. A lot of great hiking, swimming, and relaxing, and eating really healthy food.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of healthy food, you know what debuted yesterday on Netflix? Have you seen You Are What You Eat? The new twin study. I know you're aware of it.
I know of the twin study. I have not seen the Netflix documentary, but I will be watching it soon.
Well, there's 4 episodes, and I just watched the first one yesterday, and all our friends are in it. Dr. Greger, the Shares Eyes, Eric Adams. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to see what happens. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And I think you told me that the director is Luis Sohoyas, who did the Game Changers. So they got some pretty good muscle there with that documentary.
For everyone watching today, I think it's a great backdrop to the challenge we're about to undergo. So it's really great inspiration. I encourage everyone to check it out. I'll be finishing it too. It's great.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Well, just to back up for a second, if we haven't met, or if I haven't met any of you, my name is Rip Esselstyn. I am the founder of Plant Strong, and I'm going to be your guide for the week ahead, the exciting, incredible week ahead. And this is the perfect time for all of you to participate in a reset, a reboot of sorts. You know, we're all coming into the new year following a few weeks of family get-togethers and endless buffets of holiday treats. Many of you maybe followed and participated in the webinar that Lori and I did a couple weeks ago called How to Survive and Thrive over the holidays. And we really hope that you did. But if for some reason you didn't, or you don't even know what I'm talking about right now, this is a great opportunity to send you into 2024 and set you up for a fantastic year. Now, let me say first, if you haven't already, be sure to sign up to get our free challenge guide, and we'll post it in the link in the comments for you right this second. Carrie Barrett, who's backstage, will help me do that right now. And the origins, just to kind of give you the origins of the 7-Day Challenge began actually with my first book, The Engine 2 Diet. This little puppy came out in February of 2009. And my call to action in this book is 28 days. Give yourself 28 days to follow the guidelines in this book. And my bet is you'll burn away the pounds and drop your cholesterol. And the results were absolutely phenomenal. And it was called the Engine 2 diet because I got a bunch of firefighters at Fire Station 2 in Austin, Texas, where I was a firefighter, to partake in this because one of my fellow firefighting brothers was literally a heart attack waiting to happen. And that really kind of lit the fire and allowed me to kind of really embark on being a crusader for the advancement of all things whole food plant-based. My second book was called Plant Strong, and the subtitle is Discover the World's Healthiest Diet. I have 36 chapters where I bust every and obliterate every myth that's out there about why, eating a whole food plant-based diet is a bad idea. It's the best idea ever. And then the third book that is very related to what we're doing here over the next 7 days is called the Engine 2 7-Day Rescue Diet. And I say rescue diet because this is where each and every one of you can rescue whatever it is that you have going on, whether you're overweight, whether you have the beginnings of prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, you've had a shot across the bow with a major cancer or heart disease. This is your opportunity to kind of right the ship. Mm-hmm. And what happened is for 12 plus years now, I've been throwing and leading these plant-based retreats, and we always do before and after biometric screenings to show people the true unadulterated power that our food choices have on our personal health and our personal growth. And when I started throwing these in 2010 with Whole Food Market's sickest team members, I never, ever in my wildest dreams thought that you could make any kind of significant advancement in your cholesterol, in your LDL, all these things in just 7 days. But boy, howdy, Lori, and everybody listening, was I wrong. And what I learned is that you can almost do in 7 days what I thought would take the body 28 days to do. Mm-hmm. And so using the protocol that Lori and I are going to outline for you today, I want you to know that on average, we've been able to get these results. Weight loss, 3.5 pounds. Total cholesterol drop of 26 milligrams per deciliter. LDL, which is the lethal cholesterol, average drop in that is 25 milligrams per deciliter. When it comes to that's not what I want, Carrie, but don't worry about it. Let's just remove that for now. Let's see. Anyway, I don't know which, there we go. Remove that. Triglycerides, 24 points. When it comes to blood pressure, 10/5, 10 being the systolic and 5 being the diastolic. And of course, increased energy, better sleep, all these intangibles that also go along with it. Now, Lori, one of the disclaimers is that we want people to talk to their doctor, correct?
100%. When we do our in-person retreats, we give everyone notice when they arrive that, when they register, that they need to let their provider know that they're about to embark on this challenge. And same goes for you at home. Now, we're not prescribing anything other than a different section of the grocery store.
Yeah, right.
How incredible that different section of the grocery store can have such an incredible impact on your biometric markers. So truly, the challenge guidelines that we're about to review are powerful. If you are on metformin, if you are on blood pressure medication, you are very likely to need your doctor to be monitoring you throughout this challenge. So it's important that you pay attention to your body and you let your provider know that you're doing this whole food plant-based challenge. In addition, as far as results go, I was in the Facebook group, Rip, just before coming on, and there's a person named Chris who posted that they did the challenge in January of 2017, and they have a before and after, which of course is what we do when we have been hosting our events. And their total cholesterol went from 231 to 187. Their triglycerides went from 217 to 54. And their LDL, which we know is the lethal cholesterol, went from 132 to 125. I would also say to the group that if you have seen the film The Game Changers, also on Netflix, the pivotal climax of the film is Rip taking those New York City firefighters and giving them their before and after results. Well, the results that generated, or the guidelines that generated those outcomes, are about what we're going to share with you today. So it is the Varsity Program.
I do want to just say, though, I mean, it's a good idea to check in and try and be a partner with your doctor. Unfortunately, some doctors are not going to be thrilled maybe with what you're embarking on. So, just know that if you start to feel funny and you're on medications, definitely recommend a call to the doctor to see if it might require you titrating down off your meds. Don't want to scare anybody, but it's just the fact that this food is and can serve as medicine. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I want to do right now is I want to jump into, very, very quickly, I want to give a high level overview of the 7 pillars that I discuss in the Engine 2 7-Day Rescue book. And, I want you to know that I could talk literally for 30 minutes to an hour on each one of these pillars, but I'm going to give you an overview in maybe less than 10 minutes on this. And then we're going to go into the exact foods that we're wanting you to eat over the next 7 days. So we're going to get right into the nitty gritty. But first, I want to do a high level kind of level set. According to the CDC right now, 1 in 3 American adults has high blood pressure. 1 in 4 of us has high cholesterol. 1 in 6 of us has type 2 diabetes. And if you include pre-diabetes, it's almost 50% of America. 75% of America is either overweight or obese. Less than, I should say, 80% of Americans are not getting the recommended amount of daily exercise. 91% of us are not getting the recommended daily vegetable intake. 91%, Lori. 88% of us aren't getting the recommended amount of fruit intake. Now, the recommended, just to kind of put this into perspective, the recommended daily veggie intake is just 2 cups. 2 cups, 2 measly cups. Fruit is just 1.5 to 2 cups. 50% of America's calories are coming from 3 ingredients: flour, oil, and sugar, right? 50%. Pediatric obesity has tripled. And we have right now roughly 1 in 8 Americans that fit criteria for alcohol disorder. So we are an over-medicated, sick, obese, and under-exercised, underslept society. So I say all this because this 7-day reset, this rescue is for you, and we are here to help you out along the way. Absolutely. So let's look right now, and we'll do a quick overview of, so you can see here, these are the 7 pillars. Number 1, why we love plants. 2, why we really love whole plants. 3 is why we don't drink our food. 4, why we care about calorie density. 5, why we don't care about protein, right? Which is going to run counter to just about what everybody in America thinks. Pillar number 6 is why we want to go easy on salt, sugar, and fat. And lastly, 7 is why we want to move. So let me just start. And pillar number 1 is why we love plants. And I want you to know we love plants because plants are truly strong food. They're not the weak food that most of America is consuming: the cheese, the oil, the processed refined sugars, the chicken breast, the steak, right? The milk. All these things are weak food. And many of us growing up thought that these weak foods were actually the strong food. So it's kind of like this 180 reversal, because the fruits and the vegetables and the whole grains and the beans truly are the strong food. And this is where you're going to find the true deep dive and where all the nutrition lives and where it actually begins. So that's why we love plants. Now, why we really love plants, I should say whole plants, is because we want to eat foods that are as close to grown as possible, because now we're ensured we're getting all the vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients, the antioxidants, the protein, the carbohydrates, the healthy fats, and of course, also the fiber. Now, what many Americans are overdosing on is this stuff right here. It's the plant-based junk food. It's the French fries. It's the fake cheeses. It's the donuts, the ice cream, the veggie burgers, obviously alcohol, these cereals that, purport to be healthy cereals when they're just laden with sugars, buttery spreads, fried chips, and all these bars that are masquerading as, healthy bars, and they're just kind of glorified candy bars. And as I said, the great thing about when you're eating from this food group right here is you are getting all the protein you need. You are getting healthy, complex, unprocessed carbohydrates that we need to fuel our 30 trillion cells. You're getting healthy fats. You're not getting saturated fats. You're not getting trans fats. You're getting the healthy omega-3 fatty acids that we absolutely need. And then I want to touch just for a second on fiber. 96% of Americans are deficient in fiber. When you follow this 7-day protocol and you're eating this in abundance, you are going to be flooding your body with all kinds of wonderful different types of fiber. And that is a glorious, wonderful thing. All right, now let me move on to, this is pillar number 3. And so as a visual here, we want to make sure that you're drinking water and we're not drinking our calories for the 7 days. You can see here, from sunup to sundown, most Americans are consuming somewhere between 750 to 1,500 calories. And the problem is our brains and our stomach don't register these calories as calories, and you will invariably consume in solid form just as many additional calories. So water, tea, black coffee are absolutely fine. Now, when it comes to calorie density, this is a biggie. And I'm going to just say, when you're eating foods in the first 5 categories, vegetables, fruits, potatoes, whole grains, and legumes that are 600 calories a pound or less, you don't have to play, the starvation game, the deprivation game, counting calories game, and eating doesn't have to become a scientific experiment. When you can see, like right below legumes, animal products, cheeses, junk food, nuts, seeds, butters, and all oils are 1,200 to 4,000 calories a pound. We are hardwired to consume 3 to 5 pounds of food a day. This is why, right, 75% of America is either overweight or obese. And we think the only way to lose weight is to exercise more and to eat less. It is a flawed system to the core. Next thing I want to talk about is protein. Let me just, why we don't care about protein. I want you all to know that protein is inherent in every plant-based food that you eat. We as Americans only need between 6 to 10% of our calories coming from protein. You can't blow it when you're eating whole plant-based foods. Nothing has less than 6% of its calories coming from protein, whether it's fruits, whether it's whole grains that on average are about 12% protein. Your average green leafy vegetable is 35% protein, beans, 25% protein. So don't think about it. Don't sweat the details when it comes to protein. There's a term, Lori, and I know you know what it is, for protein deficiency. It's called kwashiorkor. And we don't know about it because it's not a thing in this country. As long as you're consuming enough calories, you're getting enough protein. And then pillar number 6 is we really got to go easy on the salt, sugar, and fat that America is kind of overdosing on right now. And we have some guidelines when it comes to reading labels that we'll be sending out to everybody over the course of this 7-day challenge. So you guys can become label reading ninja warriors, and you're not going to let these food manufacturers get the best of you. You're going to get the best of them. Okay. And then the last one, pillar number 7, and I'm going to add this one, is why we want to move. It is the best thing to enhance your mood, get those happy endorphins flowing. It improves your brain. You get blood flowing up to the hippocampus, and it totally improves your memory and your ability to think and recall things. It boosts your immune system. Like right now, as we're going into flu season, and it seems like there's a new variant of COVID every other month. This is a fantastic way to boost your immune system, along with eating all the different types of fiber that you're going to get when you're eating a whole food plant-based diet. It increases your appetite. Just moving increases your appetite, and it will make this food look and taste so incredibly fantastic. There's a lot of people, women in particular, that are coming down with osteoporosis right now. And this is basically it's a lack of movement more than anything. And so we got to stress all of our bones, just like we do our muscles, so that they can become stronger. We can get those osteoblasts that are in our bones working and then pumping out and growing those bones so they're nice and strong. It enhances your energy. Lori, have you played pickleball yet today?
Not today, but tonight. I will tonight.
All right. Well, I did a fantastic swim workout this morning, and I am so just jazzed and pumped up after that workout. Listen, if you're wanting, to have more sex, I always think exercise and eating this way are two fantastic, it is a 1-2 punch, right? For getting in that bed. Speaking of the bed, I find it's always easier to get up in the morning after I've had a great day of exercise. I sleep better and get up feeling rested. And then, of course, it prevents muscle loss like sarcopenia, which happens to everyone over the age of 30.
Two things, Rip, before you move past this. Number one, as you tell the story about osteoporosis, I always think of the videos of the now famous videos of your mom dragging a tire up and down the road. It's this incredible embodiment of what, if you lose it, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. That's what I think. Your mom has never stopped using it. And she is just this embodiment of strength.
And she's 88, and she's 88, and she is as strong and vibrant and healthy as she was, when she was 25. No joke. No joke.
And although the seventh pillar is deeply aligned with your personal values and mine, and is a great aspirational goal for everyone, as we embark on this 7-day challenge, would it also be safe for people, Rip, who are starting from ground zero, who are coming over from the standard American diet, that they can simply walk for 5 or 10 minutes a day and concentrate on their food for this challenge as the first gate to clear?
Absolutely.
You don't have to incorporate a whole new exercise routine and all new meals at the same time. We're not looking to wipe anybody out. It can be done in stages.
No, that's a great point, Lori. And I think, it's been shown again and again and again that just 5 to 10 minutes of walking has incredible, profound effects on our body, on our brains, and our immune system. So, absolutely.
So as we dive into these now, Simple 7, which is the nutritional guidelines that we use when we're hosting our in-person retreats. And also I want to mention that all of the pillars that Rip just ran through very, very quickly, you can read in detail in this book, and also has tons of sources cited, so you can see the research behind all of the evidence-based work that Rip is referencing. And then this is the actual challenge guideline that was born out of this book. And it's also, Rip, in alignment with your dad's protocol for prevent and reverse heart disease, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. This is what we call the Varsity Program. And let me just add that, Lori, we kind of have a saying, what would we prefer? All or nothing, or all or something? And I think that I want people to know that we don't want perfection to be the enemy of the good. We absolutely don't. But I will say this: for 7 days, I really want you to kind of accept this mindset of as close to you can, all or nothing. We want you to do this, and we want you to do it 100% according to the guidelines, according to the protocol, so you can see with your very own eyes what happens in just 7 short days. And you're going to start to actually see and notice the results in just 3 or 4 days, but in 7 days, it is absolutely jaw-dropping what can happen. And I also want to say, for some of you that haven't been following a plant-based diet, that are maybe trying this coming off the standard American diet, you will have to go through a period of feeling worse before you feel better, just like you would if you're coming off of caffeine or, cigarettes or something like that. There's going to be a bit of a withdrawal period.
Great to mention, Rip, and that's an important time for us to mention the support that we're going to offer throughout the 7 days. In the years that we've been leading this challenge, we often call day 3 the dead day, in which everyone falls off the wagon and just says, I can't do it. And it's exactly for what you're mentioning, that you really start to feel terrible on day 3, and it is withdrawal. So we really encourage you to utilize the Facebook group and turn to the other community members for inspiration and support when the going gets tough. But anyone can do this. And as Rip mentioned, when you give yourself a dedicated week of going all in to the bullseye, it is the maximum amount of results and the maximum amount of improvement that you can expect to experience in this short period of time. Versus if you spread this out over 3 or 4 or 6 months, you might not be sure. Is it really helping? Is it not? And you're just incrementally making these changes. Laser focus for a week and then decide. We're excited to walk you through this. So Rip, I'll volley to you. The first of the simple 7, we want people to eat vegetables and leafy greens.
Yep. Unlimited, literally unlimited amounts of vegetables and leafy greens. They're low calorie, they are nutrient rich, they are loaded with fiber, loaded with water. And so anything that you can think of, right? I mean, potatoes, corn, broccoli, carrots, cauliflower, kale, spinach, and anything that you can think of. One of the things that we really want people to try and do is to eat green leafy vegetables at every meal. And there's a lot of, kind of sneaky tricks in getting greens at every meal. You can, for example, like last night, and I'll show you. Last night we made a potato, onion, garlic, spinach, arugula, kale kind of stew. And in there, we just threw in arugula, we threw in kale, we threw in spinach. So if you're making a soup or a stew or a chili, just throw in 2 or 3 or 4 handfuls of some sort of leafy green. And it's amazing how it quickly will just kind of lose some of its, bulk when it heats up. Sauces. It's always great to add green leafies to sauces. So for example, tonight we're going to have pasta. We're going to have spaghetti. And so what I will do in the marinara sauce is I'm going to throw in very, very finely diced up, I should say chiffonaded up dinosaur kale. That's my favorite kale, is the dinosaur kale. Sandwiches. Whenever you're doing a sandwich, always throw on a ton of green leafies, whether it's spinach, whether it's kale, whether it is, my favorite thing is arugula. I love arugula. My taste buds have gotten to the point to where they're very sophisticated and they appreciate the bitterness that's in arugula. And believe it or not, and I picked this up from Robbie Barbero with Mastering Diabetes, I now will just snack on arugula. It doesn't get soggy. It doesn't get wilty. It's always got a nice little bite. It lasts a long time in the fridge. So that's great. Another way, a great way, Lori, is on top of pizzas.
Oh, for
right?
sure.
I mean, right on top of pizzas. So just throw it on there, throw it in the oven. So those are a few ways. And then, believe it or not, Lori, one of the things that I love doing these days is I love throwing, I don't like spinach so much, but I love throwing in finely diced up kale into my Rips Big Bowl cereal or my oatmeal.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it. So Rip, I'm writing a bunch of notes. I want to just mention, it looks like we have a lot of new people who are joining and want to know how they can join the challenge. It does begin tomorrow. There is a link that maybe we can post again, Carrie, in the chat for people to get the guide and ensure that they're on board with us. And then also other great questions. So please also save questions for the end. Rip will be coming through and answering a lot of these. And
Yeah.
Rip, I just want to call out for a moment with leafy greens at every meal. We really hit people right out of the gate here. This is very much the most challenging part, even for myself. Having leafy greens at breakfast, whoo, that is a challenge. But I know, for
Well,
example, at our retreats, when they're prepared for us every morning on that beautiful
it,
buffet,
it's it, it's so easy.
yes,
Yeah.
and you feel the difference when you start your day with leafy greens. And so I'm a person who enjoys a sweet oatmeal in the morning, and then I do a big skillet of spinach or power greens from Costco and cook them on the side. It takes a mere minutes to
Mm.
do, but you do feel different when you start your day.
Yeah.
Why
Well,
do we want people to eat leafy greens? Why?
well, leafy greens. Well, primarily it has a very, very powerful effect on our endothelial cells. And these are the kind of the metabolic and the biochemical dynamos that produce nitric oxide out of our endothelial cells. And, I've taken this page from my father in his book, working with his heart disease patients, but it's good for everyone, even me, like an athlete, because it will allow me to be a better athlete, but it's essential to our vascular health. We as human beings, we have over 65,000 miles of vessels coursing through our body. And so what it does, and the innermost lining of every one of these vessels, whether it's an artery, whether it's a blood vessel, or whether it is a capillary, is it relaxes our blood vessels. It prevents the white blood cells and platelets from sticking. It prevents our vessels from growing plaque. And lastly, it diminishes any vascular plaques that we have. And so what happens is you eat these green leafies that are loaded with something called nitrites. And those nitrites then get turned into nitrates as they go down into your stomach, and then they get kind of metabolized. And then those nitrates get released into your bloodstream as nitric oxide. And so it's just this wonderful system. And so if you can bathe your blood vessels throughout the day with bok choy, arugula, Swiss chard, spinach, kale, cauliflower, collard greens, right? And like to go back to what you were saying, like for breakfast, if I'm having pancakes, I'm not putting green leafies in my pancakes. But what I'm doing is I'm not exaggerating. I will get arugula and I will eat 4 handfuls of arugula just while my pancakes are cooking. Right. And then, I would recommend people, and you will get to the point to where you love just love that arugula flavor and taste.
Wow.
And if that's too much for you, then do it with kale. Just take a couple.
I have some right here, Rip. I might just start eating it by the handful.
I think you should.
That's
So
next
anyway,
level. Okay, go ahead.
but that's why. And yeah, so vegetables and leafy greens, we love them.
Absolutely. So, and then the next of the simple 7, the rest won't take quite as long, but whole
Yeah,
fruit.
yeah.
Why do we want people consuming as much fruit as possible?
Well, I mean, again, the thing which we love about fruit and vegetables is that they're calorie light, they're nutrient dense, and they're loaded with water, fiber, vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients. Like, look at all the colors that are in fruits. That's an indication of all the different wonderful phytonutrients and antioxidants that are in these foods. And we don't care if it's fresh or frozen. We really, really don't. Frankly, I don't care if it's organic or conventional. Dr. Greger's done a lot of research to show that, conventional, there's just a minuscule amount typically of pesticides and stuff that are on those things that is your body's going to be able to get rid of. Obviously, we love supporting the, organic farmers, but it is absolutely by no means necessary to hit a home run doing this. But for example, I always have 3 to 4 pieces of fruit on top of my breakfast cereal, Lori. This morning I had 2 kiwis, a grapefruit, and a banana. Okay.
I had frozen mango this morning. You know, I microwaved it and put my steel cut oats over top, and yeah, it's great. And it's great that you're mentioning that don't let organic get in the way of doing this, because a lot of comments in the chat are talking about how they feel it's expensive to eat this way. And truly, if it's cost prohibitive to purchase the organic, we still want you to eat the fruits and vegetables, however you can get them into your freezer or fridge. And the frozen section does save you money.
Yeah, and one of the things we love saying is that this is peasant food, right? Potatoes, beans, you can buy everything in bulk. You can do frozen fruits and vegetables that are nominal. This is, potatoes. So don't for a second think that eating healthy is only reserved for the wealthy. That is absolutely something that I want you to remove from your mind. Desserts, snacks, like right now behind me, I've got a sumo orange. Sumo oranges are in season right now. So I've got a sumo orange. I've got another banana. I've got 2 kiwis and an orange. So I will be eating those during the day. Dessert, instead of, doing a dessert that's somehow for some reason calorie rich and loaded with sugars, let's just do nature's sugars, which are fruits, which come attached to the fiber. So don't let anybody tell you for a second that fruit has too much sugar and it's not healthy. Fruit is absolutely wonderful. And listen, I probably am going to have 12 pieces of fruit today.
Someone in Facebook just said their sumo orange tree is full. I'm very jealous that they can grow sumo orange tree.
Yeah.
Another way to save money is buying in bulk, which is the perfect segue to Simple 7 number 3, which is intact whole grains.
Yeah. So we love intact whole grains. It's important that whole grains, whether it's brown rice, whether it's rolled oats, steel cut oats, oat groats, which is something that has become very, very popular on the Plant Strong team these days. Quinoa, farro, barley. There's just a myriad of wonderful intact whole grains that are out there. They're about 550, 600 calories per pound. It's important to me that you have these to help you feel satiated and fill you up as a foundational ingredient for your lunches and your dinners and your breakfasts. Like, look at my breakfast, the Rips Big Bowl cereal that has 4 different types of whole grains in it. And of course, we love whole grains because it has all the fiber. It hasn't been stripped of vital nutrients and vitamins and minerals. So, that's it. It's great for batch cooking. Last night we made that potato onion soup that I was telling you about, and we had that over frozen rice that we just put in the microwave for 3 minutes and heated it up and put everything over it.
It's amazing. And we're going to talk about batch cooking more in a little bit. But, and also one little tidbit I can't not share is that I have found Trader Joe's lately to be the best place to get your whole grains, like your jasmine brown rice and your farro and your quinoa, comparing prices to other grocery stores. They're just lights out. It's amazing.
We get their brown rice. We get their mixed medley. They come in these little packs. Yeah. You put it in there for 3 minutes. It puffs up, you open it up, and you're good to go.
Oh, you're talking frozen. I even mean in the dry section.
I'm talking frozen. Yeah.
So then 100% whole grain items. So beyond those simple grains that we would batch cook each week, now we're talking about pastas. What do we look for? No, go ahead.
Yeah. So with these, we want to make sure that it's whole grain. Especially when it comes to a pasta, a bread, tortillas, and we're looking for, it has to say either whole, rolled, cracked, or sprouted. By the letter of the law, this means that it is not a processed, refined grain. Just because it says wheat doesn't mean anything. Semolina, durum wheat, these are all kind of imposters that are kind of posing as whole grain items when in fact they're not. So we love 100% whole grain breads, pastas, and tortillas. And, I'll tell you this, if you need to lose some weight, if that's kind of one of your primary reasons for doing this, then I would tell you to stay away from the bread. It's too calorie dense. And if you are making sandwiches, do open face sandwiches, which we love and adore. And then you're just getting one piece of bread instead of two. Pasta, on the other hand, is 1/3 the calorie density of bread. And that's because you cook pasta in water, and that water brings down the calorie density tremendously. So pasta is about 500 calories a pound. Bread's about 1,400 calories a pound.
It's
So
going to be shocking for people to hear because, pasta's gotten such a bad rap, truly.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we'll be giving lots of examples of these meals and bowls throughout the challenge in the Facebook group starting tomorrow. So beans, legumes, why are they so important this week?
Well, legumes, much like whole intact grains, they're such a nutritional powerhouse. 25% protein, teeming with all kinds of wonderful fiber. They're very, very satiating. Vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, phytonutrients. They really will help kind of fill you up, and it's incredible what you can do with lentils, with black beans, with cannellini beans. I put them on top of rice. I put them on top of on my salads. I'll put them, strategically on top of my pizza. If I'm doing a Southwestern, like black bean pizza with arugula and pineapple or something like that, I'll use black beans. So yeah, what about you?
Oh my gosh. Well, making hummus is a weekly batch cook in my house. Just hummus goes on everything as a sandwich maker, and even thinned out as a salad dressing. I always have garbanzo beans to throw on my afternoon salad, my favorite.
Right.
And chili. Oh my gosh, chili I make all the time. So as we, round out the Simple Seven here in a moment, these first 5 are the items that, whenever people say a whole food plant-based diet, well, what can I eat? This is what you can eat, right? These are the things that you are loading your morning bowl or your plates with as you're crowding out the meat, the seafood, the dairy, the eggs, the processed oils. So, imagine your breakfast bowl, like Rip mentioned, of oats and 3 types of fruit on top, or your open face sandwich for lunch, or your whole grain pasta for dinner with a simple marinara sauce over top, or marinara if you're Rip, is how he says it. A wonderful bowl of chili with a crust of whole grain bread on the side. When you strip away all of those, fats and the processed oils, you really are still able to eat copious amounts of food in these first 5 of the Simple Seven. Now, how do we make it taste good, Rip? What is the 6th of the Simple Seven?
Yeah, so we want to add flavor, and this can be in the form of herbs and spices. It's nice to have in your pantry or your cabinet to have like garlic powder, onion powder, one of these Mrs. Dash's, all-purpose, salt-free herb and spice mixes. We love different vinegars. Balsamic vinegars can do wonders to a salad. I love sriracha, right, and other different hot sauces, but my hot sauce of choice is sriracha. Obviously, mustard, ketchup, barbecue sauces. We want to be careful with those and make sure we're not buying ones that are adulterated with too much salt and sugar. And maybe we can send out to people the ones that we recommend. I know there's that one brand that we like for those things. And then of course, I'm sure we'll be sending out a bunch of different salad dressings for people that will help their salads. And then of course, also we've got some rocking dressings that you can add to your rice and beans extravaganza, to your green leafies, to really kind of spice those up and take those to a whole nother level.
Absolutely. So inside the challenge guidebook, there's at least a dozen incredible recipes that have been assembled to really inspire you. But we also don't want you to feel like you have to make these, recipes and follow them to a T the key with this 7-day challenge and beyond is simplicity. And so having, I brought this show and tell that these are in my hand every day, vinegar over top of my greens and cholula over top of my rice and beans, or what my chili or whatever I'm eating for dinner. And so we always want to have an assortment of things to kick up flavor, so that when you batch cook all of these base ingredients, you can assemble them quickly. But there's also some really great inspiration for salad dressings and other ways to dress up your meals inside your challenge guide today. Mm-hmm. And then before we talk more about that, let's round it out with beverages, Rip. What do we want people drinking during the 7 days?
Yeah, and I talked about this briefly earlier, but we don't want you drinking your calories. So let's just do what the other 20,000 mammals on the planet do, and let's drink water. Good old H2O water. It is absolutely wonderful. It's calorie free, and you can drink a lot of it. If you want to do coffee, let's make sure we're staying away from adding sugar and creamer to it. Let's do it black for the week, and then tea is fine as well. Mm-hmm. But this is a time to stop any kind of a smoothie habit that we have, a unhealthy caffeine habit that we have with sugar and creamer.
Alcohol.
Yeah. What's that?
Alcohol.
Yeah. Alcohol. Let's just do water for the week, and you'll be amazed just what this one little pillar will do for you.
And we call it a challenge for a reason, but it's only 7 days. It's not for the rest of your life. And chances are, as we've done this many, 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 many times, you'll come out the other side with a newfound appreciation for black coffee, or realizing you don't need it at all. You pick. Yeah.
Cheers. And I'm just drinking water in this coffee mug because
I have PLANTSTRONG chamomile today. Lovely.
Because as Lori knows, I don't do coffee. I've never done coffee. Never really liked the taste of it.
You're amazing. So we've had a lot of questions in the chat, especially about avocados on this next session. So can you talk about what we're avoiding and limiting during the challenge, and why these help maximize results?
Yeah. So we want to bring our total fat intake down somewhere between 10 to 15% of total calories. This is when we really can start the healing process, reversing a lot of these kind of chronic Western diseases that are running rampant in this country. And, most Americans are consuming well between 30 to 50% of their calories from fat. And typically it's the wrong kind of fats. Now, we're going to play hardball here. So just hang with us here. So when it comes to avocados, for some of you, it just might be easier just to eliminate them for the 7 days. Avocados, they're about 900 to 1,000 calories per pound on the calorie density chart. So they're a little bit, more than we want. I refer to them as kind of green gold. They're absolutely delicious. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to have them, I recommend you keep it to a quarter to half an avocado a day. Just so we're not overdosing it, right? I mean, if you did a thing of guacamole, and you're watching the Texas-Washington game last night, it'd be really easy to plow through a whole thing of chips and a whole tub of guacamole. And we don't want you to go there, because we don't want you sabotaging all the great things that you're doing with some avocado and chips.
Mixed nuts, Rip. I mean, mixed nuts since the holidays. Those bags, I know why I don't buy these, because I have all these leftover mixed nuts from all the parties and such. And it's so easy with cooking dinner to grab 3 handfuls, and now you've just blown half your day.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so you brought up nuts. So, we don't mind a handful of nuts a day in the form of walnuts, because walnuts are the most anti-inflammatory nut that's out there. They have a very, very friendly omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Of about 1 to 3. Just to give you an example, almonds have a omega-3 to omega-6 ratio of 1 to 2,500. And that's 1 omega-3 to 2,500 omega-6s. And those omega-6s are very inflammatory in nature. So we like the walnut. And again, it's just 1 ounce, one small handful. That's 180 calories, 80% of which is coming from fat. So, let's sprinkle those walnuts either on your salad, on your cereal. You could maybe even use it is a sauce with a little bit of low sodium tamari and some water and some garlic for your green leafies. One of your 6 servings of green leafies during the day. But yes, nuts, we're going to be very judicious. Just do walnuts and keep it to a handful a day. And then the last thing is, tofu and tempeh. We adore tofu and tempeh, but this 7 days, I want you to stay away from the tofu and tempeh. Again, it's 40% fat. It's healthy fat, but we're trying to bring down that total fat content to 10 to 15% of calories. So for this week, let's avoid it.
So as we wrap up these simple 7, I see a lot of questions in chat about, putting almond milk in my coffee and what other nuts could I have if I don't have walnuts? This truly is, as Rip mentioned, the bullseye, the Varsity Program. And if there is one tenet of this program that you absolutely positively cannot live without, it doesn't mean that you should then throw up your hands and give up. There's still benefit to be had by adopting 98% of what we're outlaying to you. But what we've said over years is for people to consider, those things that we hold on to so tightly. What if we let them go? And what if you spent a week fully immersed in a new set of guidelines and see what happens? And we think you're going to be delighted at how you feel at the end. We also would invite you, if you want to know your biometric results before and after, and I understand this would be very challenging before tomorrow, but always available on our website. If you go to plantstrong.com and click on the main menu, there is a section called Know Your Numbers. And we have a partnership with the world's leading direct-to-consumer biometric testing service, which would allow you to select your own requisition form and select, thank you, Carrie, for putting that up, and select that you would like a lipid panel and an A1C or fasting glucose for a short-term test. And you can do your own before and after biometric testing anytime. It's always available on our site because we feel you should have access to that information and to know how your numbers are trending. So, Rip, thank you for going over all of that. There were some questions too. Those simple 7, those guidelines are in the challenge guideline, which was sent to you via email. So if you registered even just today, it took you to a landing page for our food line. But then if you opened your email, this entire recipe booklet and the challenge guidelines are ready for you to download and enjoy. Rip, as we get ready to take questions, can you talk for a minute about batch cooking and how that really makes the challenge a lot easier to handle?
Yeah. So batch cooking is where you take something like potatoes or oatmeal or steel cut oats or even pancakes, and you just make a whole bunch of them that will last you for several days. So for example, on Sunday, I made 20 roughly different pancakes and I put bananas in them. I love bananas in my pancakes. My wife likes blueberries, so I put blueberries in hers. My children like strawberries. So we did a combination of those. I made 20 of them. And then in the mornings, they can just pop those in our toaster oven and then have them as a quick kind of either breakfast or as a snack during the day. Potatoes. Typically, we will make 8 to 10 different huge sweet potatoes. And then we'll take the leftovers and we'll throw them in the refrigerator. And it makes for a quick topping on top of frozen rice that I that I heat up in the microwave, or frozen quinoa that I heat up in the microwave, along with arugula, a sliced mango, and a red bell pepper, right? So the batch cooking is there to basically help you with your bowl building over the course of this coming week. These are no recipe rescue bowls where you're taking foods that you've batch cooked that are sitting in your fridge, easily accessible, and you are making breakfast, lunch, and dinner in lickety split, like typically less than 10 minutes.
100%.
Right? And I know you're going to show them this, Lori, but I want you all to know that I've been doing this since 1987. And the reason for my success is because this is not hard. This is absolutely easy. I've been very, very consistent because it's simple and it's repeatable. And it's something as simple and repeatable, and it's not as hard as what you are currently doing, but it's easier than it's something that you can become a lifetime habit. So this is just a matter of you figuring out how to build these new routines with simple tricks and hacks like batch cooking Saturday. Like one of the things I've started to do is I love steel cut oats. So I'll make a huge batch of steel cut oats, and then I'll put in little Tupperware containers, like 8 or 10 that is in the fridge for anybody to grab in the mornings. And then you just add a little bit of fruit on top, a little bit of oat milk or almond milk, and you're absolutely good to go.
Mm-hmm.
So Lori, what do you have there that you can share with everybody?
I mean, it's a silly visual, but this is what your fridge should look like every day, right? So that this is the habit that once you start, you'll never stop. If you're going to make potatoes for dinner, do a whole tray so you have them ready. Those are a great snack, by the way. A cold Yukon Gold potato with a little bit of stone ground mustard. But always having brown rice that's cooked, always having your steel cut oats ready to just microwave. It makes the healthy choice the easy choice. When you open your fridge and can just grab some pre-washed arugula to go on top of your rice and open a can of beans and add in some salsa, it's phenomenally easy.
And I'm glad you said that about the canned beans. I can tell you that 90% of the time we're using no salt added, canned beans, whether it's black beans, pinto beans, butter beans, cannellini beans, navy beans. Mm-hmm. We're using canned beans, right? And then we'll throw it in the saucepan or the microwave, add some, appropriate herbs and spices, and we're good.
100%. And, if you find 1 or 2 recipes that you want to fully make for the week, it's wonderful to make a stew or a chili on Sunday, make a couple dressings so that you have them. So then maybe you don't have to do any cooking until maybe Wednesday or Thursday when you need to make a quick little meal to sort of freshen up what's in your fridge. But we get that it is not possible to home cook from scratch every meal 3 times a day. So batch cooking, we say the ABCs of batch cooking is always be batch cooking. It's the most critical habit that you could start. And you really start to love your bowls. I also, for Christmas, Rip, I got East Fork pottery. I have this wonderful special bowl that I'm so excited to come to the plate with, come to the table with. It's fun, right? Yeah. So batch cooking and bowl building. This week, we'll be doing all sorts of content inside the Facebook group so that if you want to engage with us, you certainly don't need to have Facebook in order to be successful with this program. But if you want to be connected with our team and the community, we invite you to do that. Also, everyone who is entered, and by entered meaning that you inputted your email address and we sent you the guide, that means you're in the drawing. Each week during the challenge, starting tomorrow, we'll be drawing a name to do some great giveaways for our food line. And while we're on that note, Rip, everything that we've talked about here today, you can shop at any grocery store to pick up the ingredients to do this challenge. You can do this at Aldi, at Walmart, at Whole Foods Market, your choice. Our product line is, however, a great time-saving way to get those maximum results during the challenge. So if you have a pantry that's full of Plant Strong chilies and stews, you're 90 seconds away from a meal without having to cook anything from scratch. If you really want to have pancakes like Rip makes on home on the weekends, our pancakes and our cornbread mixes are 100% a time-saving, delicious solution for you. Also, pay attention to this fine print. 1 page in your challenge guide, there are a whole bunch of perks, including a $7 voucher for anyone in honor of the 7-day challenge to redeem over on Plant Strong Foods. We also have great discounts on our live coaching program that runs year-round every Tuesday evening. Also on our retreats and our meal planner. So make sure you flip through the challenge guide to get those exclusive promo codes. Rip, do you have a couple minutes more to do some questions?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Lori, but let me just say a few things before we move on to the questions. And that is, this is a very, very trite saying, but I just want to say it. And it is, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. And so I would encourage you all, like get out a piece of paper and write down, what am I going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the next 7 days? And then go to the store and then make it happen. Do the appropriate batch cooking. If you like oatmeal or steel cut oats or oat groats, make enough, right? For like, but if you have time, you can just do it right away. But otherwise, do like the overnight mason jars, batch cook, and put those in Tupperware containers. But you're going to not believe how easy this is to do, especially when you plan ahead just a little bit. Yeah. So that's it.
I love it. It's very, very important. And we all are busy too. And so saving time is really the biggest goal that we have, not only during challenge week, but every day.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So we invite people to start adding in some questions. I saw a bunch of people asking about the documentary I mentioned on Netflix earlier. The name of that documentary is called You Are What You Eat. It just debuted yesterday, and it features sets of twins who are being split to put on an omnivore and a whole food plant-based diet. Dr. Michael Greger is involved, as are Dean and Ayesha Sherzai. So what fun that will be for us to all watch.
Yeah. So Lori, I'm just going through some of the questions that are coming in. So this one, stay away from edamame too. No, if you want to do edamame, edamame is about as unprocessed as you can get. So if you want to put some edamame, obviously on your salad or on your pasta or something like that, I think edamame is absolutely fine. What about cereal with almond milk? Yes, we're fine with some of these plant-based milks. I would say that, go for some of the lower calorie plant-based milks that are out there that don't have the added sugars and the fats. So for example, a lot of them have anywhere between 35 to 45 calories per 8 ounces. And that might be the way to go, as opposed to getting one that has 160 calories per 8 ounces. And then we're, not drinking our calories with our cereal, right?
The next one, Rip. Deb on YouTube asked if you have to be on Facebook to win the daily drawings. You do not. You entered with your email address. We'll be announcing in Facebook, but we will notify the winners via email.
Is lentil pasta okay to eat? Absolutely. Love lentil pasta. But with anything that you're eating, just look at the ingredients and are we going to be sending out what the guidelines for
it wasn't on the list, but I heard you mention it earlier, so we'll certainly do it now. We have a one-pager for label reading guidelines. We'd be glad to share out with everyone. We did last night, Rip, remember we sent out a grocery list, so a starter grocery list. I hope everyone received that. If you just signed up today, we can post it in the Facebook group, but it's just a starter ingredient list. If you're brand new to this, here are some great pantry things to have on hand, just to build those first initial bowls.
So from Brent, he wants to know, I get confused on serving sizes for cereals, salads. What's the limit, or is there one? No, I will tell you that there really isn't one. I will tell you that, Brent, if your goal here is to lose some weight, then do oatmeal, do steel cut oats, do some sort of a porridge type cereal that you have to make with water, as opposed to a hard cereal that is got more calories per pound. And then when it comes to salads, listen, I mean, I have salads that are the size of my zip code. So, and that's one of the beautiful things about eating this way. So if you're following the guidelines, again, I want you to be able to eat until you're comfortably full, and then call it good.
Rip, at our retreats, we often say on day 2, so at our retreats, we serve everything as a whole food plant-based buffet. And if people are brand new coming to the event, which many times people are, they come through with these little portions that look typical to a standard American diet dinner plate. And we pull them aside and say, oh, no, we need to eat lots more food. When you strip away all of the butter and the oils and the saturated fat, the volume of the food that you can consume is considerably larger. So that's fun news to deliver.
Yeah. Carolyn wants to know, what about a smoothie with power greens, frozen fruit, and almond milk? So, Carolyn, we want to masticate. We want you to masticate, which means chew your food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We don't want to take the and forgive me, I do not mean to offend anyone, but we don't want to take the easy way out by throwing something in a blender, whirring it up, and then drinking it, or with a straw. That it is our need to try and find the easiest way to consume food with the littlest amount of work, according to Doug Lisle, right? Our brilliant evolutionary psychologist. And believe it or not, by chewing, right, you're actually decreasing, bringing down the calorie density of that food because it requires more work. So of course we're drawn to the smoothies. They're tasty, they're easy, all these things. But I would tell you, throw those power greens, the frozen fruit, and whatever else you want into a bowl and eat it instead of drinking it. So for the 7 days. Now, do I ever have a smoothie? Sure, but it's like once a month. Okay. Let's see. Do you have a chart of recommended biometric goals so I can compare and know the goal? Well, I think everybody's, biometric goals are a little bit different. I'll just let you know, blood pressure, we're looking for 120/80. When it comes to total cholesterol, the magic number we're looking for is 150 or under, but there's all kinds of nuances there depending upon if you're male, if you're female, how high is your HDL, the healthy cholesterol, because if that's 80 to 100, there's no way you're going to get to a total cholesterol of 150. That's just too high, and that's not a bad thing. So you have to know all fractions of your cholesterol, your LDL, your HDL, and your triglycerides, that are the three that actually make up your total cholesterol. And then, of course, weight. I think everybody probably has a pretty good indication. What did you weigh your freshman year in college? And that might be a good goal for us all to kind of to get to, ideally. So I'll stop there. Let's see. Is a serving of leafy greens 1 cup or half a cup uncooked? Let's see. Well, I will tell you that it doesn't really matter. I would tell you just eat it, whether it's a cup, a half a cup, a quarter of a cup. I just want you eating as many leafy greens as you can during the day. I don't think you can overdose on green leafies unless the caveat there is unless you're throwing them into your smoothie, and then you can put in more than you want and you're getting too many oxalates, and there's issues that can arise when you're not eating them naturally.
That makes me think there was another question earlier about blood work, and is the PLANTSTRONG blood work private? 100%. We have no access to those test results. So if you go to plantstrong.com, if you're joining late, and on the main menu, click on Know Your Numbers, there is a link where you can get before and after biometric testing by yourself. Those results come only to you. We have no insight onto them. One more thing, Rip, to share with everyone as you are considering, stocking your pantry. We had some really exciting news on November 22nd. PLANTSTRONG Foods was awarded designation as eligible for FSA and HSA reimbursement for 100% of our food products. So that means our pizza crust kit, our pancakes, our cornbread, our cereal, our chilies, our broths, our teas, all of them met the very rigorous criteria to enable our food products to be reimbursed as healthcare. So if you have a employer-funded HSA or FSA program with those pre-tax dollars, on average saving about 30% because those dollars are slid over before taxes, you're able to apply all of those dollars and redeem them for PLANTSTRONG Foods. So if you go to our website, every product has a link at the top that says HSA and FSA eligible, and it allows you to follow the steps to get approval for that. So very exciting.
No, that was a huge accomplishment, and it's just an indication of really how clean and wonderful our food products are for those that want to utilize our food products as kind of an easy way to eat this way when you want to break from cooking. Yeah. Okay. Is instant oatmeal okay to eat? Kevin, You know what? Let's try and stay away from the instant oatmeal. It's just a little too refined. It's a little too processed. We prefer that you do either the old fashioned rolled oats, steel cut oats, or the top of the chart, the oat groats. So those three would be better than the instant oatmeal.
Let's do one more rip and then we'll wrap up for today. Oh my gosh, Dawn Lamberth wrote that she lost 12 pounds during the retreat in Sedona last fall. Oh my goodness. And restarting now. Good for you, Dawn. Amazing.
So, yeah, this is a Facebook user. They want to know, are your products gluten-free? Many of our products are gluten-free. We have some of our pancake and waffle mixes are gluten-free. Same thing with the cornbread and muffin mixes. We have a gluten-free one of those. Our chilies and stews are, I believe, gluten-free. And then I'm trying to think what else, Lori. The popcorn is gluten-free.
I was reading comments. Did you say pancakes, cornbread, all of our chilies and stews?
Yeah.
The granolas are inherently gluten-free, but they're not certified because of the facility that they're made in. So depending on the level of sensitivity that a person has. And at customer service, if you are ever concerned about any allergens, please reach out and we'll be happy to answer. One thing I'd like to address, Brent has asked, with your foods available, doesn't this go against raw versus processed? I think we should be really clear, Rip, that we are not encouraging a raw plant-based diet over the week ahead. We bake our potatoes, we cook our chilies and stews, and the products that we make are as close to what you would make at home in your own kitchen. In fact, we encourage you to read our ingredients list because that's as far as the processed part goes with our food products. But this is not a raw diet. I know you've interviewed some great guests who are really big supporters of the raw diet. Do you have any thoughts on that, Rip?
Well, yeah. I would say that if in totality over the course of the next week, probably 50% of what you're eating is going to be raw with the fruits and the vegetables, and probably another 50% are going to be cooked, whether it's the rice and the beans, the legumes, potatoes, things of that nature. So, I've been following this for like almost 37 years now. And it's never been like only cooked or only raw. It's always been a combination of raw and cooked. It's the same type of diet that my father has used to reverse heart disease in his patients. So it's the same one that Dr. John McDougall recommends, Dr. Doug Lyle,
Dr. Greger.
Dr. Greger. Yeah. All of, of these legends. And what we have found is that when you try and do just raw, typically you're erring on eating too many nuts, seeds, avocados, the higher fat foods, because you have to fill yourself up somehow. And so you're turning to nuts and seeds and avocados and things of this nature.
So Brent did respond again and say thanks that he's now won an argument with his father-in-law. So he answered. So I still see some great questions coming in. I invite anyone who has a lingering question to visit the Facebook group. Our staff is standing by. Coach Amy is in there. Coach John is in there. And in addition, our email address is hello@plantstrong.com. So if you have any questions about starting your challenge, finding the challenge guide, we are all here to help you. Over the next 7 days, Rip has created a bunch of educational video content that we'll be posting for everyone to enjoy, to really reinforce. We know that today is literally like drinking from a fire hose, pun intended. And so throughout the next 7 days, we'll be sprinkling and reinforcing this educational content every single day, along with those great prizes and giveaways. And we'll be filling your inbox with reminders. And then as a finale, we'll all be crossing the finish line on the 9th. Watch your inbox. I think we're going to do another live, Rip. This was a lot of fun. It'd be great to bring everyone together.
No, I think we should. And I'm just reading through like the comments. And I'm sorry, because I was just focusing on the upper ones, but the lower ones are just spectacular. And I really feel like we're like dates, raisins, dried fruit. Are they too high in calories? It's okay if you do a little bit of raisins on your cereal, but otherwise, don't want you snacking throughout the day on dried fruit. It's like almost 1,400 calories a pound, whereas For example, grapes are 300. So almost a fourfold difference between grapes and raisins. And the only thing that's been removed is the water. Oh, these are just so good. So good. I have a hard time
Go
stopping.
ahead. Keep going. Go
I
ahead.
have osteoporosis. How can I get vitamin D? I do add almond milk to my oats, but if you take a supplement, what do you recommend? Thank you. So, yeah, the best way to get vitamin D is it's the sunshine vitamin. And so you just need about 5 minutes a day to your hands and your face. And that should get you what you need. I know that there's certain people, depending upon where you live, you're not going to have the sunshine. So if you do need to supplement, we do recommend a brand. It's called Complement Essentials. They specialize in supplementation just for plant-based eaters. And they are very rigorous. They've been around 5 years, third party tested and approved. And they also have my stamp of approval. So you can check them out as well.
This one comment, this is why we do this, Rip. D. Morgan writes, my husband's blood glucose went down 100 points in 10 days doing this.
Yeah.
Awesome?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Do your taste buds change after a while so you don't crave things that I should not eat, like chips, etc.? I will tell you that absolutely your taste buds will change. They'll become more sophisticated. You'll be actually craving those green leafies, that arugula in the morning. But I also want you to know that some of those cravings will probably never go away. And so I think the smartest thing there is just not to have them in your house, right? We don't want this to be about willpower. We want this to be about making the healthy choice, the easy choice. And so to the best of your ability, don't have those chips, those, granola bars, those, whatever it is in the pantry, in the cupboard, because you'll be drawn to it like a moth to flame. And yeah.
Rep, one thing we forgot to do is that we were going to talk very briefly about what are some no recipe items that we eat every day to give people an idea, because tomorrow's the day. How are they going to start tomorrow? What are you going to have for breakfast tomorrow morning?
So tomorrow morning, I am going to have oatmeal.
Yep.
I'm going to have steel cut oats. And on top of that, I'm going to put a little bit of ground flaxseed meal. I'm going to put a little bit of walnuts. And then I'm going to do, I got to see what I have at home, but I'll either do a sliced banana. I always do at least three pieces of fruit. So I'll do a banana, I'll do frozen mango chunks, and I'll probably do a kiwi.
Amazing. And how are you going to get your greens for breakfast tomorrow?
My greens, I'm going to take 3 to 4 handfuls of arugula and eat those probably in the car on the way to Academy.
Hardcore. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm also having steel cut oats for breakfast tomorrow. Very, very similar. What are you going to have for lunch? What's a typical no recipe lunch for you?
So for lunch today, for example, I'm having leftovers from dinner yesterday. Yep. And I put those on top of a bed of rice, frozen brown rice. And I've got it sitting in the refrigerator right now. Yeah. So that'll be it. And then I'll have some fruit as well after that. And then for dinner tonight, my son Cole, it's his turn to make dinner, and he's going to be doing spaghetti with a marinara sauce. He is doing the Beyond meatballs because he feels like he wants those, and it's Christmas break, so he's going to do those. On the other hand, I'm going to have beans. I'll put some black beans on there. I'm going to also do some blackened broccoli in a skillet. It's frozen broccoli. I put it in a skillet. I put it on high heat. I mix it around. I add garlic powder. I add onion powder. I add red chili flakes and a little bit of pepper. And I add that to my pasta as well. And then we'll have a little side of whole grain bread that I'll dip in there.
Amazing. No recipe, right? I do the same thing with pasta. My husband is a huge fan of mushrooms when they're in their sliced state.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I found if you take mushrooms and you mince them so that they're really fine, not necessarily mince, but dice small, and then cook the mushrooms in a skillet and then add a marinara sauce to it, oil-free pasta sauce, and then serve that over whole grain pasta with your arugula or spinach cooked right in. It is amazing. And it takes minutes to prepare.
Well, yes, that sounds incredible. And I will add arugula to the pasta sauce tonight as well.
Absolutely.
with the blackened broccoli. But I love what you just said about the mushrooms,
Yeah.
because there's so much good data coming out about the benefit of mushrooms. So I'll probably swing by the store and get some white button mushrooms on the way home.
It does disguise them. That texture is usually the offender for people who don't care for them. And it really then is reminiscent of a bolognese when you have that texture. So then the other thing I love to make as a no recipe is your Rips sweet potato bowl. So I batch cook my sweet potatoes. And then for lunch, I heat it up with black beans, salsa, spinach, frozen mango, and corn. It's incredible. I mean, if I were doing the 7-day challenge and had never done this before, those 4 dishes we just talked about are enough to get a person all the way through to the end of the week. And we want you eating super large meals so that you're not reaching for snacks in between. But if it is in the afternoon and you're feeling a little hangry, we want you to have oranges and apples and bananas on standby, grapes to snack on throughout the day, so that you really focus on those big bowls at breakfast, lunch, and dinner throughout the day.
I know some people love jicama. Jicama is great. It's really crunchy. You can do sliced jicama.
It's a snack.
Obviously bell peppers. I've got a cousin. I was over at her house and she had these basically jicama sticks. They're like carrot sticks. And she was just snacking on those. And I was like, wow. And I had a couple. I'm like, this is really, really good.
It is. Oh my gosh, Rip, we could do this all day.
Well, I know. For some reason, I do not want fresh leafy greens or salads. No problem liking. Is it okay if I do greens in soup? Yes, absolutely. We don't care how you get them. If it's fresh, if it's cooked, if it's thrown in soups, we just want you to get them. Yeah.
We can't wait to hear how the challenge week goes for all of you. Thank you for tuning in today and spending almost 90 minutes with us to help you kick off an incredible week. Let it be one for the ages, right?
Woohoo! All right, you guys. Plant strong in 2024. This is going to be the reset that gets you going.
Can't wait.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you, Rip. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.